Welcome, everyone, to episode 9 of Open Discourse. Little change of plans
Right.
this week. We had some scheduling issues with our guest host, but we're going to hopefully have them on next week sometime.
Crank an episode out anyways, just Dylan and I.
Yep, we wanted to get some content out there and have something ready to release this Sunday, so we are recording this now. This week, we decided to just kind of dive into video games again, mainly because of the live stream. There's so much interesting conversation. We didn't really want it to go that way, but it kind of naturally did.
Yeah, I mean, because the topic was technology, and we were kind of looking at like social media for the first part of it, and then I kind of wanted to one-line mention video games, and it just blew up from there. We got a call in about it.
Yeah. Just everybody who was watching the live stream, I don't know, it was a polarizing topic. Everybody kind of latched onto that. So let's kind of start where we left off there,
Okay.
I think. And do you want to just talk about the impact of video games on you personally, or on just society as a whole?
Yeah, so in the live stream, we were talking about how the question was, do violent video games make other kids and adults more violent? I think Dylan and I are at the consensus of no, because we both actively partake in violent video games, and one of our viewers said we're the least violent people that they know.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of benefits growing up. I don't know about you, Dylan, from video games.
Yeah, I mean, just more than it being just a fun thing to do, I think it stimulates a part of your mind. There's a lot of problem solving in video games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being creative, and then also the social aspect of it too, just playing with your friends.
Yeah, I was as a kid, I was an awkward little kid, and I don't. Some people would be like, "Well, that's because all you did was play video games," and maybe, but I think, I've broken out of my shell since then, so I don't think it was like me at heart, and I still played copious amount of video games.
Mm-hmm.
But while I was awkward, it was a great social outlet for me. My dad and I played video games together. My brother and I played video games, so it was a family bonding thing. It was kind of polarizing for my mom. She wasn't a fan. I don't know how that was in your household, but
yeah, I mean, it's funny you mentioned playing games with your dad, and your dad kind of really got into gaming. I mean, he was
he had a
pretty good,
better
right?
kill to death ratio than me in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's saying something. So what I would do, me and my dad's experience was a little different, and I was like so mean to him whenever we would play. Like I remember playing one of the 007 games for like PlayStation 2, and I would just destroy him. And I was like, man, that couldn't have been fun for him. But like, I don't know, maybe it was.
Yeah.
But I appreciated him, hanging out with me and playing with me.
Yeah,
So,
even actually, my little sister and I, we played Halo together. Video games, I was a big thing. I played with my cousins and all that. But with my dad, it was kind of funny because I like trained him.
Yeah.
The first game on Xbox Live that he ever played was Call of Duty 4, and it was like what you were saying. I put him in like a custom match with me.
Yeah.
It was just me and him, and I was just like
Wrecking
killing him
Yeah.
every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whenever we were playing Modern Warfare 2, we'd be playing online together. He had his own Xbox, and I had my own. We'd be playing in the same house online, and I'd like look at the leaderboards or whatever, and he's like, got a crazy KD and
That's insane.
capturing objectives. We'd have call outs that we would say like during gameplay. It was a good time.
Yeah. And we're done. Thank you for joining us. No. You want to talk about the history, video game history?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You want to go? How do you want to go? Like side by side, or you give yours, I'll give mine, or what do you want to do?
Well, how old were you whenever you first remember playing a game? Because I know mine.
I don't know the specific age, but I'm gonna venture as far as young as 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, I think mine was like 4 or 5 because I think we had just moved into the house that my parents live at now. But for me, the first game that I was like, wow, this is really fun, and I was really intrigued by it was 007 on the N64. And that was one of the more popular first-person shooters, multiplayer first-person shooters that was out. But yeah, me and my brothers and me and my siblings would all play that. I don't know, it was so crazy. Like, looking back, have you seen the footage or graphics
And
recently
it's
of that?
It's funny because we say that with every new game. It's like,
Yeah.
this is the most realistic
Oh
thing
my
I've ever
gosh.
seen. And it's crazy how they're able to do that. And I think movies are the same way because when like you're watching a movie from 98 in 98, you're like, man,
I think The
cinematography
Matrix
is
came out in 1999 or
yeah
2000, and like it was like, oh my
the
gosh,
coolest thing anyone's
look
ever
at this.
seen, and it's like they keep getting bigger and better.
And now you look back and you're like, man, some of that look. Actually, that movie kind of does hold up pretty well though.
Really?
But yeah, it still looks pretty good. But things have changed. Graphics have changed so much over the past 20 years in video games. It's insane. I remember having the same thought about. I feel like I went to like a Best Buy or something, and it was right when the 360s came out. And I guess I don't know if it was 1080p yet. It might have been 720p. I can't remember, but I remember seeing that, and I was like, where do we go from here? I was like, how does it look any better? Like, is it even possible for the game?
Now
It's gonna be
we're
real life
4K
next.
UHD.
Dude. Yeah, that.
You just
so
recently got a 4K?
I recently just got a 4K TV and Xbox One X, and the difference in games from just 1080p to 4K is absolutely ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, I'm still playing on a 36-inch Vizio 1080p. I got an Xbox One S, but
yeah,
not
yeah.
rocking that 4K yet.
Oh, dude, I play it now, and I was like, I don't even think I can go back. Like, it's so much better. The color scheme is just insane. It's way better looking.
So you said GoldenEye was that the 1st game you ever played?
Yeah, the first one I really remember.
Yeah. For me, it was Frogger on the PlayStation
Okay.
1.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Frogger?
I owned a PlayStation 1. I don't remember playing Frogger. I was like into Rayman, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot.
I played a lot of
Loved Crash
Spyro.
Bandicoot.
It's weird. I don't know why, but I missed that Crash bandwagon. The Crash Bandicoot bandwagon.
That was a really popular game at the time.
Yeah, there was a racing, like a Mario Kart kind of version of that game that I
Yeah.
remember my brother had and we played every once in a while. But for me, it was Spyro all the way. I had a Spyro costume, Halloween costume that I wore like 24/7 all throughout the year.
You were like really into it. Yeah, no, I played. PlayStation 1 was the first console I had as my own. Like, the N64 that was at our house was my brother's, and I wasn't really old enough at the time, but I remember getting my PlayStation 1, and I was so pumped. I was like, yes, this is
I think I got
awesome.
mine for Christmas. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm sure I got mine for birthday or holiday or something like that.
that was my first system as well. They're remastering Spyro. I'm so super pumped about that.
I saw that. Yeah,
I want to try to get that soon. Or they did remaster it. It's out.
my cousin Johnny, shout out, what's up, Johnny? He has a PlayStation 4, and he's like super pumped about the
Spyro?
the reboot. Is it out yet?
I think it is out, yeah.
I don't know if he has it yet. I don't know. I'll have to ask him about that. But he's like, yeah, dude, they remastered. I was like, that's sick.
Yeah,
That's
I can't
awesome.
wait to play it. And I think it's one of those remasters where you can alternate back and forth between the original graphics and
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, they
remastered.
did that with the Halos. That was
Yep.
so awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So moving on from PlayStation 1, that was your first one.
Yeah.
What was second system you had?
PlayStation 2.
Same. All right. What was like the game of that generation console that you remember?
Man, that's a tough one. I played the Medal of Honors. I played a lot of shooters. San Andreas was on the PlayStation 2, right?
Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
I played the crap out of that game. Me and my friends played that, and that was like the first like bad video game, like violent bad video game that I played. And I can't remember how old I was at the time. I wish I remember. I feel like I was like 12 or 13. Does that sound right for PlayStation 2? Because you're a little bit younger than me, but I can't remember how old I was whenever PlayStation 2 was out. But I don't know. I played a bunch of different titles for that, but I didn't really stick to one.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you have a Game Shark?
I did.
Did you?
I forgot about that.
That's so funny. It was like this disc that had all these cheat codes for
Yeah.
all these different
Yeah.
games, and it was weird how it worked. You had to like boot up the Game Shark first, and then throw in your game, and they'd have all these different cheat codes.
That made me think of something. Do you remember those like sample game discs? Do you remember that? I feel like I had them for PlayStation 1 where it was like something really cheap, and I can't remember, but it was like it had like multiple demos on it.
Really?
And you could just try out a bunch of different games before you
Huh.
bought them. I thought that was one of the coolest things. And
Yeah, I don't remember
you don't
that.
remember that? No.
But for me, the PlayStation 2, I think that's when my dad and I first started playing together a lot. Conflict Desert Storm. I don't know if you ever played
I
that.
never played that.
It was like you were this military team of like 4 guys in a squad, and if you were playing split screen like me and my dad, where you had 2 guys of the 4, like each of you would have 2 that you could alternate between.
Oh, okay.
And they were like different like classes. Like there was like
That
the
reminds me
sniper.
of Ghost Recon.
It was.
sounds like
it was
Ghost
similar
Recon
to
me.
Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
And we played the crap out of that, and I feel like that was probably my first violent video game. I
okay.
mean, it was warfare. We would kill people.
You know what's funny is my friend got San Andreas, and my parents wouldn't let me have it at the time because you know. And I went over to his house, and I was like, "Your parents let you play this?" I was like, "What?" And then I played it. Of course, I was like, "This is the best game ever." I was
Right.
like, "This is so much fun." But
I
yeah,
would never played San Andreas. I had Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I think it was the one after that. I think it was on my PlayStation 2.
yeah. Vice City was before San Andreas.
Oh, really?
It was Grand Theft Auto 3, I think, and then Vice City, and then San Andreas. I don't know. No,
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
sure.
I had Vice
somebody
City.
will
That's
correct
all I
us.
know.
But yeah, that was a good game. Those were solid games. Those were really good. All right. Now the next one is the one I'm really excited about to talk about because that's the one when I really, really got into gaming. So the Xbox 360 came out, and that changed video games. Like I think that's when a lot of people got online and started playing competitively online.
Yeah,
when
that was the
360
first
came out.
system I played online. Halo
Yeah.
3 was the first game I've ever played on Xbox Live.
That was the. Do you know that was the launch title for 360? Was Halo? Wasn't it Halo 3?
Like when the system
wait
came
a
out,
minute.
you mean?
Yeah, or I think it came out. Oh man, no, I'm not sure. I thought it came out like right when the 360 came out.
I'm sure it did. I think either the system I got came with Halo 3, like a bundle,
Uh-huh.
or I immediately bought it. That was the first game I think I had. And when I got my 360, I got Xbox Live at the same time because that's when I
Yeah.
started.
Yeah, my friends were playing Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Classic.
And, dude, that might be one of the best pure like online shooters because like there wasn't a lot of gimmicky stuff at that
Right.
time. Like now I feel like a lot of online play there's almost like too much stuff and too much diversity.
Like jetpacks and
Yeah, it
perks
just
and-
got really crazy, but that was just like, here are the guns. Everybody pretty much has the same perks, and it's like, figure it out. Like, skill. It was just skill based. It wasn't like you got lucky all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Call of Duty 4, that was. I call like there's certain games that I think were like pivotal
Yeah.
in like this gamers' lives.
Yep.
And that was definitely one of them. That's
Oh,
when
yeah.
my dad started playing. Was Call of Duty 4. We would take turns online. That was before we both had an Xbox. But
Yeah, dude. But I was telling you before we started. I was like, I remember going into my friend's house at like 5 or 6 p.m. and we would play it until like 6 in the morning, like as long as we could. We would just hours and hours and hours on that. I
Yeah.
remember my friend was super into it, and he reached like max prestige. Like he prestige like 10 times.
Right.
I'm like, dude, you're putting way too much time into this game. I was like, I love it too, but like, do something else, bro. It's like, well, that's something we could talk about. Is like how much time you put into video games.
yeah. Real quick, backstep in the timeline.
Okay,
I know
yeah.
you said you didn't have one when we were talking earlier, but GameCube for me,
Oh yeah.
that Nintendo really did, did my childhood a good service with the
Mm-hmm.
GameCube. Star Fox, Metroid Prime. Have you ever heard of that?
I have. I played it a little bit. See, I never really got into like the Nintendo. I never owned a Nintendo system.
Yeah,
like
that
I would
was
play them.
That was the only one. My little sister had a Wii, but I hardly call that a gaming system. But yeah, not the 64. The GameCube was so cool,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of alternated between my. I guess I had a PlayStation 2 at the time. Between the two of
yeah,
them,
those were. Yeah, I guess those were out or at right around the same time. Yeah. What other games did you play on the 360 besides like shooters and stuff? Did you play anything else?
so I hate sport games. like
See, I've always been a fan of sports
Yeah.
games, and it's kind of like,
what is it MBK 12 or whatever? I feel like that was like the big basketball game.
2K.
2K, yeah.
Yeah, 2K.
Like everyone.
Well, there was NBA Live, but I don't think anybody really played that. 2K was like the basketball game.
I had Madden for the GameCube, and I'd play that. That was back when I was in like school football, but I don't know. Sport games are kind of weird to me because like a lot of the things I like to do in video games is stuff that I'll never have a chance to do in real life.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons I don't like sport games. It's like I'd rather be throwing a football around than making little dudes do it.
Right.
But like storming alien planets and in huge battle royale scenarios.
Yeah.
Not something I can partake in the
Very
real
true.
life.
I was really into the Maddens though. Like my older brother Kenny, he was playing, like I think it was like Madden 98 or 99 on the PlayStation 1, and I played it a little bit, and he would just like tear me apart. He would just destroy me. But recently, like it's kind of this interesting thing where we used to play back in the day, and now he just got an Xbox and he just got Madden. And we haven't really played a match yet, but Kenny, I'm coming for you, bro. Like I'm gonna totally destroy you, just so you know.
See, that was one of the benefits that like the brotherly playing
Yeah.
of video games
Yeah.
that like it was such a major part of my childhood, and even today, my brother lives in Tennessee, and sometimes, and we kind of talked about it in the live stream, but sometimes like the best thing for our relationship is to just stay in touch is hop online and
Yeah.
we'll play, across the state
Yeah.
and be able to like chat with each other over the headset
100%. Yeah.
and
We were talking on the last one about like we don't always hang out in person. You know
mm,
what I mean? So I'll jump online and I'll be like, "Hey man, you want to play some games for an hour or two or something?" So I mean, it's great for having friendships with people. You know what I mean?
a lot of the bad that I hear about it is like it's not real. Like
Uh huh.
everything that's happening isn't real. You're not
Hmm.
making real experiences. But I'd have to disagree. I feel like whenever like we're playing, I can think of specific like
I
matches or
know.
games, and
Yeah.
it's like they really did happen.
Yeah.
It was in a different way than most people are used to experiencing. But
Yeah.
like you can just like when you think of like the highlights of a football game, like we can go back and talk about a match and
Hmm.
talk about this, and that, and like it really happened. We really experienced it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's so much fun. I mean, just jumping on and you know, and what's so cool about it is like you don't have to take a lot of time out of your day. You can be like,
Hmm.
"Hey man, I got time for one match.
Yeah.
Like let's just jump in for 20 minutes." And it's so much different playing an online game than like back in the day you would have
Hmm.
to like a storyline and everything and you'd be
Yeah.
invested in the game, and now it's just like jump in and play for a minute and then
Yeah,
you
like
know.
yesterday, we were gonna meet Drew at the bar, and
Yeah.
we had some time. I think we played for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just hopped on real quick, did
Yeah.
2 or 3 matches.
Yeah, and one thing that I think a lot of people don't understand about video games, a lot of people think that they're antisocial, and it's the exact opposite. It's like you're just catching up on your day. Like you're not always talking about the game. You're just like, "Hey man, what did you
Right.
do today? How was your day? What's going on?"
For sure.
And you're just yeah.
It's one of those things, and I hate the whole like don't knock it till you try it, because there's like lots of things in life that you just shouldn't try, and that like they're bad, and you don't have to try it to
Yeah.
know that.
True.
But I think a lot of the people who are against video games just don't have the greatest understanding of everything
Yeah.
that there is to it.
Very
And there are
true.
negatives, but there's negatives with everything. I mean, you can take food to a place where it's bad, and
Yeah.
you can take your relationship with your significant other to a place where it's bad. It's all
Yeah.
about a balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Very true. Okay. Xbox One.
Um, Xbox One. See, that's when I first got a girlfriend. uh, was it not? No, I take that back.
Did you have a 360?
I was sitting.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
I
You
was
had
sitting
to
on the
have.
360 for the longest time. Like the Xbox One came out because I remember you got it back whenever your sister lived out near me, at our old
Really?
house.
I had it.
Yeah,
I
you
did.
did have it back then, and I was like, "That's so cool." Dylan's
That-
got the
That
Xbox
console's
One.
been out for a minute.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't get an Xbox One for probably a couple of years.
2013? Is that when it launched? 2012? Does that sound right? No, I can't remember. We should have done some research before we started this. We should have had some.
I just got my
statistics.
Xbox One. I don't think I've had it for a year. Now that I think about it, because my brother sent me a deal. I just didn't play.
It's been out for a long time.
It has, and I got the
Yeah.
Xbox One S. I think I've had it for less than a year. That's why I
remember
can't
you
really
getting
think.
it.
Yeah, like,
You haven't
sit-
had it very long.
I
It was
have-
last fall.
Yeah,
It was.
because
Yeah,
I
you
was
got it last
living in
fall.
Baldwin at the time.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. He got me like this good deal where
Yeah.
I got a game and 2 controllers and the Xbox for like $250.
Yeah.
Stupid value, but it was a Forza Horizon game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got really into like the legit Forzas, or I call them the legit
Right.
Forzas, because like the Forza Horizon was more like arcade-ish. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And
It's funny
the-
because I'm the exact opposite. Because I'm Horizon over the real ones.
I didn't bring that up, but I got like on the 360 and the Xbox One, I got super into Forza. Like
Yeah.
I was
I
playing
remember that.
online at one point.
You're like,
and,
dude, I have
was,
all the assist stuff. I'm like a real driver.
I was so proud of it. I was like, I got a full manual with a clutch. Like I got really, really into that game. But no, those were super fun. So let's bring up Fortnite
Fortnite?
for the Xbox One, dude. Where do you begin on that one? That's like,
I think
whoa,
I don't think there's ever been a game that has had as big of an impact as that one.
yeah,
Or if there is, it's like the classics, like Pac-Man. Like it's up there with like one of the greats. I think it'll go down in the Hall of Fame of video games.
I think that it took away the stigma of video games. In a way, a
I
little
kind of
bit.
agree because everyone plays Fortnite. It's
amount
not
of-
uncool anymore.
The amount of streamers that like got on to Fortnite and made it like Fortnite made watching people play video games
Yep.
so much more popular. Like think about how much Twitch has grown and like YouTube views on Fortnite games. It's staggering.
Ninja,
Like,
Fortnite, and Twitch like have this crazy symbiotic
Yeah.
relationship where they just all boosted each other's
Yeah.
like financial gain.
so yeah, I don't know if people really realize how much money there is potentially in video games if you're like an elite like player. I can't remember how much he was making. I think it was like 6 months ago. He was making like 8 million a month. No, that's not right.
Last
It
time
was
I looked, it was like
ridiculous.
probably a little over 500,000 a month just to
Oh,
play
okay.
video games.
Okay.
So I mean, every 2 months
That's
he
like
makes a
not
mil.
sponsorships or anything. Like he got sponsored by Red Bull.
Right.
Yeah, he's sponsored by Red Bull.
Yeah.
It's like what? A
I
video
think-
gamer sponsored by Red Bull? That's crazy.
It's insane. That's man. There's so many ways to go with this. Fortnite. For me, like I was saying before, it's a free to play game, and I
Yeah.
think that's one of
It's
the
free.
reasons why it's so persistent and pervasive into like the world today.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done so many crazy things. Like you can play it on the iPhone and the
Yeah.
Android. Like it's everywhere on your
Yeah.
PC, gaming consoles, and it's free. You just download it.
Yeah.
You can spend money on it.
And a lot of people do.
A lot of people spend a lot of money because
Yeah.
it's outgrossing like every other game
Oh yeah.
in the history. Like I think Fortnite has made the most money
Dude,
ever
that's so-
on a video
free
game. Yeah, a free game.
has made more revenue than that's ridiculous. It's so crazy. So one thing I was thinking about as far as it becoming more and more popular and it bringing video games to the main stage, Ninja played with Drake, and it blew up. I think there were a lot of people that weren't paying attention to it before then, and then he was on Ellen, and then I think a lot of like the older
Yep.
people were like, "What's Fortnite? Like, what's going on with that?" Yeah, he brought video gaming to the mainstream. So as far as how much he makes, he's making like pro athlete amounts of money for playing a video game. I didn't. Do you ever think that was possible?
No.
No?
Like we talked, I think I mentioned it in the live stream. I used to hide the fact that I played video games. I didn't talk
I
about
thought
it.
that was interesting
Like
because I never felt that way.
people like shunned me for it.
Really?
My friends like at school weren't like they were the athletic ones. They weren't the ones who played video games. So my video game friends were all online, which like just sound like
Yeah.
like the more you talk about it, it just like sounds even worse. Like I had no friends in real life who played video games with me.
See, because I was like into sports and stuff, so I kind of did both, and like I would talk to people about, so but nobody ever was like nerd. You know what I mean? So
No, I had in grade school I had gotten like the nerd for playing
Really?
video games. Yeah, or
that
they'd make
surprises me.
or like if I'd go to a friend's house and like it was cool like for them to play video games at that time, they'd be
Yeah.
like, "Well, Nick will know how to set this up."
You're like he's the guy to go to
Yeah,
when
I'm
it
like,
comes to video
okay.
games.
But Ninja was the first e-gamer to, or the first gamer to be on ESPN.
Yeah, on the magazine cover.
Yeah.
he was on ESPN's magazine cover. Yeah, what? It's crazy. This
My
is so
my
crazy.
college has an esports team.
Really?
I don't know what all they play. I think a lot of it's more like real time strategy computer games
Mm-hmm.
than like Fortnite or console games. But
I think the future of gaming. I think that high schools are gonna have. I think like
Teams.
every high school is eventually gonna have like an esports team.
that'd be
you
so
know?
dope.
That'd be cool.
I would have been on it.
Yeah. Oh,
in high school.
for sure. I would have tried out. I would have tried to been on it. Yeah, dude. So Fortnite in general, though, what's crazy about that game is where it started and where it is now as far as gameplay. Like, I can't remember a game that's changed so much.
No,
How long has it been out? A year? No, more than a year.
it's like a year and a couple. Because we just like semi recently we had the Fortnite anniversary
Oh yeah.
thing going on.
Yeah.
I'd say like maybe a year and 4 months.
Yeah, I guess before that, we should also mention that the Battle Royale mode on there was a side thing. It wasn't even really the main point of
Right.
the game when it launched.
When-
it just kind of blew up.
When Fortnite and the original Fortnite game is still in development. The Save the World mode, that's like all that was originally
Yeah.
on Fortnite, and then Epic as like a ditch effort kind of caught on to the Battle Royale mode and threw one out there, and
Yeah.
I don't know why their version is taking off so much better than everything else, but it really is.
You mean just how it passed up PUBG and
Yeah, like everything.
all those
I
other
think.
Battle Royale style
I mean,
games?
it's the pinnacle of Battle Royale. Black Ops just released,
It's
the
really-
blackout mode, but
Yeah. It's funny because I remember around Christmas time there were a lot of people that were like, "Fortnite's stupid. Like, play PUBG.
Right.
You know, it's more realistic." But I don't know if it was maybe the graphics of PUBG or just the flow and the gameplay of it that people didn't like, but
It's pretty choppy.
everyone was like, Fortnite is where it's at.
I could be wrong, but I think this was the case for Ninja. But a lot of people were playing Fortnite in like what's the word? Preparation for PUBG, because Fortnite released first. I'm pretty sure.
No.
I think it did.
Oh, you mean...
Like I think it was available to play first.
I
Like
thought PUBG was before it.
I could be
don't know.
wrong.
I
I've
can't
heard a lot
remember.
of people who played Fortnite preparing for PUBG.
Hmm.
Because I
That's
I saw
interesting.
commercials for PUBG on like TV.
Mhm.
Like, oh, that looks so cool. And then like a lot, because I'm pretty sure, unless PUBG like came out on the PC first, maybe for console people. I don't know. Because I remember when the first time I played Fortnite, it was before it was popular. And my brother, that's what my brother said. He's like, there's this game coming out called PUBG. And he's like, I want to see how you like this, because
Yeah.
it's the battle royale thing.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty hyped about PUBG, but
I played it in December for the first time. So I think it came out in October. I want to say October, but the first time I played it was in December, and I was like, like it's kind of cool, but like I didn't really get it at the time.
Mhm.
And then I think it was around February or March that I really, really got into it. And so when the game came out, so what makes Fortnite such an interesting game is the fact that it combines building and a shooter all in one. And whenever it launched, like no one knew how to build properly, or to the extent that people know now. And it was basically just people running around using cover, hiding in buildings and stuff like that. And the gameplay was like really slow paced, and nobody really knew what was going on. To where it is now,
it's so
like,
fast.
What? It's crazy. Like the builds that people do now. I talk to you about this all the time. I'm like, if someone had the knowledge they did now and they went back and they played it like at launch, like they would just, they'd be a god in the game. They just wouldn't die.
One of the things that I think is so cool about Fortnite is you can't deny like how powerful it is, because for the longest time, crossplay between like PC and console has been possible, and I would say
Technologically?
technologically. I don't know why I struggle with that word every episode. I try to use it. Technologically, like PS4 to Xbox One has been possible.
And they
but
never wanted to do
They
it.
never wanted to do
Yep.
it. PS4 is like, we don't play with Xbox players
Yep.
for a reason. And then like Fortnite was, like I said, I can play on my Xbox with you on your iPhone or your iPad. And
Yeah.
Fortnite was the first game for crossplay between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Yep.
Like that literally goes down in history.
Yeah, you can play it on the Switch, a phone, PC,
Nintendo.
Xbox, PlayStation, any
Anything.
system. Yeah, and you can play with other people that have different systems. That's so
It's
cool.
everywhere.
Yeah. We were talking about PCs and just the power, like how powerful consoles have become. So you were saying, is there a difference between the Xbox One X and the regular Xbox One, or the Xbox One S?
Yeah, because like I'm running the S and you and Cody have the X, and you guys are literally in the match like a full 2 minutes before me.
So, graphics obviously, load time, it's just faster. I don't know about gameplay though. Like I don't know if I have like a slight advantage, or there's less input lag or something
I'd
like
be
that.
curious to know if how much that affects it.
I don't know. And now I'll look it up. I'll look it up after this podcast. But yeah. So we were just talking about Tifu's PC. He's a streamer. He plays Fortnite, and I saw the specs for his computer, and I sent them to my brother, and he was like, "Dude, that's a ridiculous amount of money." And he's like, "You don't even need that
Dylan,
powerful of a
team,
system."
Team Tifu or Team Ninja?
Ooh. Okay. Whose team am I on? Okay. Who's a better gamer?
That or like who do you support more or like admire more? Whatever you want to toss it up.
You know what's funny? I watched Ninja first, and then I watched Tifu, and his first videos, I was like, this guy's brash, and he's an asshole.
See,
and
I
like,
don't
didn't like
like
his
Tifu
language.
because he's a jerk.
He's really like cocky and stuff.
Mhm.
But dude, skill level, I think he's better than Ninja. I just think you know what's interesting? They've had a one-on-one before, and Tifu's won. I mean,
Really?
I don't know how many they've had, but I just think he's a better player. Like, I watch his videos, and I'm like, are you freaking, like, how's this even possible?
Yeah, I find Ninja's videos more fun to watch, and I almost like wonder. I feel like there's like when Ninja's playing, he's like joking around with his team, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like I don't really enjoy Tfue videos as much for like him as much as like I would prefer to watch Tfue videos like without the Tfue commentary, which actually half the time he's not even talking because he's just so like into it. But
True. Yeah. Okay. As far as like content though, content wise, my favorite streamer is Tim the Tatman. Have you ever watched that?
yeah, I've watched him. It's one of my friends from school who plays video games. She said she used to watch him play Overwatch. That's what he was on before Fortnite.
Dude, he's got some like what's crazy about him and the streaming in general is I've never played Overwatch,
Me neither.
and
Me neither.
I've watched him play Overwatch, and like I don't really know what's going on
Right.
to an extent. I'm like I
But you
get
still
it.
enjoy it.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like he brought what he brings to the table is like a legit comedian, like a funny person that's
Yeah.
making original content and has all he's hilarious. And whenever he started playing the games, I don't know about he was actually really legit at Overwatch, but it was kind of funny because in the Fortnite community, he was known as like the guy who got on and just got destroyed. Really at the
Yeah.
beginning. But now he's like really he plays with pros. Like he wasn't really a pro and
He was
kind of
just funny.
He was just funny and he was a really popular streamer. He was a very popular Twitch streamer a long time ago. And as Fortnite's grown, he's grown a lot, but yeah, he plays with pros and he holds his own. Like he's pretty solid now.
Yeah,
So,
honestly, the like my favorite videos are like anytime Ninja and Tim the Tatman are playing together because like that combination is just super hilarious
I think
and it's fun to watch.
I think if like the best ones is like Tim, Ninja, Dr. Lupo, and then like I don't know who the fourth would be that I would want to be in the match with them.
The All
but
Star Squad.
once they stream all the time together and they put out these videos. I'm like, this is awesome. And what's crazy is I'm like, I relate a lot of what they talk about and the things they're joking around about to our squad, to like what we
Right.
talk about when we play.
See, that's the thing too is like your brother Cody, he lives in Texas. I
Yeah.
honestly don't see him very much, but
Yeah.
I feel like I might know him better than some people like in your actual family just because I get to talk to him over Xbox.
I agree. I totally agree. It's like you talk to Cody way more than I don't know. Even some of my other siblings probably talk to Cody. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just because we game together,
Right.
and we're just on all the time. Yeah.
It's a great thing. I think the benefits of gaming overall just totally outweigh the negatives.
Yeah.
There's some there, but I think a lot of them can be controlled from parenting.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want your kid to spend hours on Xbox, don't let them do it. If you don't want them to see certain violent images, don't buy those games for them
Yeah.
because they can't.
But as far as it making them violent, if they play violent video games, I think that is just such a person to person. Like there's just so much difference between one individual and another. It's like you can take all that input and you can be like, oh, it's just fake, it's fantasy. Like I'm just having fun. Like I don't, I'm obviously not gonna do this in real life. And then I think there's some people out there who they're like, hey, like this killing stuff is awesome. Like I just want to do this in real life. There's probably people out there like that.
So I didn't mention this on the live stream, but I had kind of been like talking about it to Corinne after that live stream.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think is very interesting is back in like ancient Rome, like people like Fortnite happened and people actually died and people loved to watch it.
Colosseum.
Yeah, the Colosseum. They would put people versus wild animals,
Yeah.
and it's like I think there's just something violent about human nature in general, and I would much rather it be played out on screen the way
Yeah.
we do it than how it has been done in the past,
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
or
Yeah.
even like dog fights or like boxing. Boxing is violent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. I never
It's-
really thought about it like that.
It's like that drive to watch violence for whatever reason has always been a part of humanity. I think the video game might be the best way to go about satisfying that if you have to. You know what I'm saying?
That just made me think of something. Do you think that is why more guys play video games than girls? Do you think it's like a testosterone versus like is there a genetic makeup that we like competition and I don't want to say violence, but like I don't know. Do you think that there's something in there?
I think maybe that's why more guys play the type of games that we play. But like I know Callie and Corinne like loved to play Mario on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And I know Callie talks all the time. Like she was playing like The Legend of Zelda, playing
Yeah,
Donkey
she's
Kong.
she's
on
super
the
into
64.
video games. Yeah.
So I think it might appear that girls play less, but I think it's more of a cultural thing. I think it's more acceptable for guys to go play video games,
Yeah.
and be stupid. But
Right.
I think there might be, like, I don't know very many girl gamers who play Fortnite,
There's a few,
but
it's overwhelming
a male.
male to female ratio. There's way more guys that play than girls, but
I think that might be part of
I
it.
don't know.
I think a lot of it's cultural too, though.
yeah, that's
Like
true.
what's gendered accepted.
And what's great is it's trending towards, like, I think in the gaming community there used to be this thing where like guys were like, oh, you're a girl, like you're obviously not good, and there's girls out there that are amazing, legit players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was just thinking about the pro teams, and I'm like, are there any? I'm sure there are pro girls gamers, but like there's just not as many. There's just, you know what I mean? Yeah. All right, where do we go from here, Nick?
Well, I know you wanted to talk about where our video games going from here.
Oh yeah. Let's get into that. VR. I want to talk about virtual reality, and you haven't had much or little
I've
to
had
none. No, none
experience. Not even like
Whoa.
the phone and the
Oh, really?
goggles.
You haven't tried it all? Dude, okay. So my brother Cody, he's like the tech guy.
Shout out to Cody
Shout
for
out
hooking us up with
Cody, hooking us up with the mics
mics
and
and
the
the
camera. Yeah, dude. We need to just start every podcast with Cody. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
get him to call in, and a word from our sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Our main investor in the podcast. So he has an Oculus Rift, and he has a really, really legit PC. Like, it can run the
That
Oculus.
just sounds intimidating. Oculus Rift.
Oculus Rift. I know it's.
Like, I don't even know where that's taking me.
It's a super. Okay, I think it was either last year or the year before. I went down there, and he's like, "You got to try this out, dude. I got this virtual reality thing." I'm like, "Cool, let's try it." What I didn't think about was like distance and depth and like height. It is, dude, it's so crazy. He had like this one where you're just on the edge of a skyscraper and you can like look off and lean forward and lean backward. I mean, you feel like you're gonna fall off a building, and
sure.
in your mind you're telling yourself, you're like, "Oh, I'm on the floor, like there's nothing," and you're legitimately scared. You're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall." It's crazy. And then he had like this space game where like you like float around in space, and it was really, really cool. And then at one point you like go out of the space station and look down, and you're looking like 1,000 foot down, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy."
That's insane.
Oh, it's nuts, man. Like where they're gonna go if they can like. Once they have like a legit first-person shooter, oh man, it's gonna change gaming completely. Like I just want you to experience it so bad.
I think maybe even like movies. Could you imagine like watching a movie where
And being like in the movie.
yeah, like you're a first-person character? That'd be insane.
Dude, there's gonna be some scary like experiences. Like, can you imagine like Jurassic Park?
No.
Like you're like in the car and you're riding along,
And you feel like you're
and,
getting like picked up by a
dude,
dinosaur.
oh my gosh, that'd be horrifying. That'd be so scary.
It'd be pretty cool though.
It would. It'd be awesome.
I would love them to be able to like give you like physical perception. Like if you got
That's the
shot,
thing.
it is.
That's the thing.
If you get shot, you can like feel like pain in your arm. Obviously, it wouldn't.
They
like, a
already
gunshot
have
wound,
that.
but-
It's a haptic suit. That's what it's called. I feel like that's right. Haptic suit. But they have them out now. They're really expensive, but it'll give you like I don't know if they have it to where it's like full body yet, but it might be like a chest or an arms thing, and you like feel
vibrations,
dude,
and pain.
It's gonna get to a
Cold
point
heat.
where you're on like a track or something like that, and you can walk, and you can move around, and you can feel stuff, and your sense, I mean, obviously you can hear it and see it and everything, and it's gonna be like real. It's gonna be super real.
That's insane.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about those moments that we were talking about earlier, because like I want to talk about like the first time I did a squad sweep. Like I'll never forget it. Like it was such a
Let's talk about
weird thing. Okay. Let me just go.
Yeah, I mean, if you just roll with it.
Okay, so earlier we talked about like the moments in gaming that I remember personally.
Memories that are being made. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember like hanging out with your friends. Like I remember like hanging out in my friend Cole's basement, and we just gamed for forever. I would come over, and that's all we would do. We pretty much just play video games. But just recently with Fortnite, what's so cool now is you can capture on the Xbox, so you can just you can take a short clip of video and you can save it and then you can rewatch it. Well, I had one of it was me, you, Cody, and Josh playing, I believe, and Cody gets downed. And then, like, I run over there, and this is when the game first came out, and I wasn't very good at it yet. And there was 4 guys versus me, and I killed. And it's called squad sweep. I don't know if anybody might get the reference out
Just
there.
in case.
It was my first ever squad sweep, and I remember just being so pumped. I was like, I just did that, like, and I was on the mics with every guy. I was like, guys, I just sweep the whole squad. I killed everybody, and they were like, what? I'm like, yeah, it was awesome. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are some of those memories for you?
Well, for Fortnite, kind of going back to how crazy of a game it is for me, there will be times, and I've heard Josh talk about it, like where his heart is racing. Like it's literally affecting my vital signs.
Yeah.
It's such an intense game that like my blood pressure goes up, my heart rate goes up. You say that whenever there's like really intense moments, you can just like hear me breathing on the mic.
What's great is most of the time, because what was that?
Siri is talking to us. That's freaking weird.
Oh, I was like, who's that? What? That was weird.
You know how you can say like, "Hey Siri"?
Uh-huh.
Well, one of us must have said, "Hey." Well, now she's freaking out. But one of us said like, "Hey, say that" or something
and it
like
sounded
that.
like, "Hey Siri."
Yeah, she like that's technology's weird, dude.
That phone's listening to our whole
Yeah, I don't like that.
The government knows. Shoot, where were we going with that? It just
Fortnite. My heart is racing.
Oh,
You can hear me breathing whenever something intense is happening.
So Nick's better than me at Fortnite.
Well, thanks.
What's interesting is like we kind of like went back and forth for a minute, and then we were really, really close for a while, and then what happened to me was I stopped playing it. Mm-hmm. I moved out, and I didn't have internet here for a while, and it really put me back on the gaming.
You have to stay up. Like
you do.
Strats that you learn
yeah.
change so quickly.
And everybody out there is getting better. And if you're not playing, you're
the
not
evolution of Fortnite is just insane. Like it's not the same game. There's not the same play. People like you cannot play it the same way that you played it 3 weeks ago. You just can't. It's
constantly changing, and they're constantly updating it and patching stuff. But you brought that up, and I never thought about that. Oh my gosh, my original point. So I would get downed, and then it would be Nick first. So it's teams of 2, and I would die first, and then I could spectate you. I could watch Nick. And he would just be in a build-off with these guys, and he wouldn't be saying anything, and I wouldn't be saying anything, so that his audio would be clean, and he could hear where everybody's at. And all I hear is Nick going... and I swear, dude.
No way.
That's like legit. You're just like, and then like and then it like you win, and you're like, holy cow, dude, that was crazy. And I'm like, I know, it's so intense. So for me, whenever I first started playing, okay, so the way Fortnite works is a battle royale. It's 100 people, 100 real people that get dropped onto an island, and everybody starts with nothing.
Back up. That's insane too. When I first started playing video games online, it was like 6v6, 12 people total in a match. And then I'm like, you're telling me 100 people can fit on this game area, and the game can handle it?
And that wasn't even something possible however many years ago with the servers. Like you couldn't support that many people on like one server or whatever. But yeah, towards the end of those matches, it's like whenever I first started playing it, I remember like my heart rate going up, and I was like anxious and like nervous towards the end of a match, and I was like, and my heart would race, and I was just like, I've never experienced that from a game. It's so intense. Yeah.
But yeah, for those who don't know, Fortnite, there's an island, 100 people land on it. Yeah. They parachute into it. You have nothing but a pickaxe at the start, and you just have to find all your guns and ammo and equipment.
You gotta loot
it up.
Mm-hmm. You gotta do some looting.
The first time I started playing, and it was just like that, just like when you described that, it was like so daunting. Yeah. I was trying to find some stuff. And I didn't even see anyone, and then all of a sudden I get like shot and I'm dead, like dead for good, because you only get one life, which is kind of a new thing to video games too. Normally you respawn. Yeah. But I jumped in my chair, like threw the controller up in the air, knocked my headset off. I was like so terrified of what just happened. Yeah. I've just never experienced that in a video game before.
I remember my first solo win, and I played the game for I don't know how long before I got my first win. It was a while, maybe like a month. Maybe a couple weeks, something like that. I remember the first time I won one. It's like you're that one guy out of 100 people.
100 people.
100 people played that game, and you were the last man standing. And dude, I dropped my controller. I'm like, oh, what? Like, I was so pumped. I was like, I was super excited. Probably too excited.
I know. I remember the first time I got my dub, as they're called.
Mm-hmm.
Corinne was like, "So is that it? Like, are you done playing?" I was like,
no.
"No. Like, I have to relive that. Like,
Exactly.
it never gets old, and no game is ever the same because the other aspect about Fortnite is there's this like storm, like a hurricane, that's constantly shrinking in, and you have to stay in the eye of it.
It's pushing the players,
Pushing players
closer and
together.
closer. The battlefield gets smaller and smaller as the game goes on, as it progresses. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a crazy game.
It is
Wait, I could
crazy.
talk about
I could talk about Fortnite forever.
I could talk about it the whole podcast.
You were talking about game captures, and that's kind of one thing. When I was little, the YouTube channel I'm currently using, I think I deleted a lot of the old stuff because it was just terrible content. But like 13, 14 years old, I was capturing some of my gameplay and posting that to YouTube. And I just enjoy making videos. I'm not I'm a tech guy, but I'm not. Like, I don't know as much as I wish I did know.
Yeah.
But like producing content, like when we're making these podcast episodes, and I get to go back and like edit it, it's just very fun for me. So for pastime, I will save my Fortnite videos and edit those and post them to YouTube. And that's just kind of crazy, like how I can engage in that as well.
Yeah.
But I
What
love
is
doing
your,
that.
is it Snickeroo on
Snickeroo,
your
yep.
gaming? Let's plug that.
My gamer tag is Snickeroo. I'm on YouTube at Snickeroo. Got a Facebook page now. I'm trying to get all the socials out there.
Yeah.
Just kind of connect.
Yeah, dude. You know what's funny? I didn't really know how good you were at games, and whenever I first came over to your apartment to play, what were we playing?
We were playing Call of Duty World War II.
We hadn't played video games at that point, and you didn't know what to
was-
expect, and you didn't think I would know how to play.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me that. You're like, dude, I didn't know you would like actually know how to play. Was it just you didn't know, or was it a perception
honestly,
of me?
it's,
Like, I
no,
don't
it's
know.
stemming back from that my childhood experience of I was the only one I knew who played video games, and like I don't want to act like I'm super good at video games, but like I am good at video games.
Yeah.
So like even if people like played with me, I'm usually like always like at the top of the skill level.
Yeah.
And we had never played together, and like when I thought of you playing video games, like you played Forza and Madden, so I was like, oh, he probably doesn't play like first shooters.
That's
and then,
interesting.
like, I'm gonna have to like really be pulling the
Yeah.
weight, and then we hop into like a Call of Duty match, and you're like top of the leaderboard. I was like, okay, damn.
I was like, yeah, bro, I used to play back in the day. But no, I never got my skill level to where yours is at right now. I
don't know.
I don't
It's
think I've ever
fun
been
for
that
the
good.
competitiveness of Fortnite is just so fun for me.
Oh.
I like getting better all the time.
I was thinking back. I remember one of my favorite matches I ever played. We played duos, and our team, me and you combined, had 17 kills. And I mean, that's almost a fifth of the lobby of everybody who was in that match we took out. And I was like, at the end, I was like, did that just happen? We just dominated. Like, that was so sick. But then you look at these pros that are out there who are putting up like 45 kills in duos. Like, what?
I know there'll be times where like I die, I'm like, like they're like I get mad. I'm like, because there's so many times where I'll have like 8 kills in a match and I die, and then you
Yeah.
spectate the person that killed you, and
he
it's
has
like
one.
I'm their first kill.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously, why am I fighting all these people? And he just like rolls up on me, low health, low ammo.
That's
But then
the
sometimes I die and I spectate, and he's got like 24 kills. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll
Yeah.
sit down.
Yeah.
Like, you're clearly better.
I was playing solos yesterday, and I was doing really well. I think I had like 4 or 5 kills, which for me is like a average, like a good game is like 4 or 5. Okay, just to put it in perspective, like when the pros play and they're really, really good, they're gonna be in the 20s. I mean, if I can get 10, I'm like stoked. That's probably my 10 I think 10 is my best game ever, and so 5 is pretty average. Anyway, I get to the end of the game, and I'm doing really, really well. And then I'm like having a build battle against this guy. So a lot of the building in that game is just creativity, and I mean, it's technique and practice and everything, but it's being creative and like staying above your opponent. Dude, I gained high ground on him once, and then he's just like,
Nope.
he just like gets above me and just decimated me, and then mopped the last guy. I got third, and I looked at his. I think he had like 13 or 14. I was like, that's one of them. Dude, that is a good, solid player.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think maybe 13 is like my highest. 11, 12, 13.
We played a squad, and you had 11, and we
Yeah.
died. And you know what's funny?
And we weren't even close to like the end. I was like, this is
No,
nuts. How many
dude.
people we've encountered.
And what's funny is I think I was talking to Josh about that. I was like, did you know he had 11 kills that match? He's like, I had no idea. I was like, bro, he was doing work on people.
It's so fun.
It's such a good game. So much fun.
So many memories are made.
Oh yeah, for sure. Socials. Want to plug them socials?
For Open Discourse, or
Yeah, or talk about where we're going, and what we're doing.
yeah. So, if you're following us on Facebook, I try really hard to keep like Instagram and Twitter going, but we have like a fraction of the followers on those accounts
Yeah.
and I'm like double posting stuff. So Facebook is definitely the most up to date, most active account that we have. So if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't yet followed/liked or whatever it's called on Facebook, go ahead and look us up, follow us. We'll keep you updated. We like to do weekly polls.
Yeah.
Wasn't one for this episode, obviously, since it was kind of an impromptu.
This wasn't the original plan. We mentioned that at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had some problems, and we kind of just did this on the fly.
But expect weekly polls. We like to kind of get the conversation started that way. Get you guys thinking about what the episode's going to be like. We typically ask like a yes or no question. And we're really looking for guest hosts. I mean,
yeah,
we've had a lot of friends and family. I think here soon maybe we'll have some people. Like I know you mentioned having Josie on. I don't know Josie very well.
Yeah.
We're gonna have my pastor from church, Rob and Christine. That's his wife on.
They're gonna be on next week, hopefully.
You don't know them very well, so it's kind of interesting to me that we're gonna get into these episodes now where we're not so close to the people we're talking to, and I love that. Like, I want to have open discourse with so many people.
It's gonna be a little more of an interview, we feel, I think.
Yeah.
But so a few of the topics that we want to hit, and if you're interested in them, give us an email, some messages on Facebook, however you want to get a hold of us. So we wanted to talk to somebody who is gay or lesbian. We would really like to do that. It's just something interesting that we don't know a whole lot about. And then abortion was one of the topics we wanted to talk about.
Right.
There was one more you meant race.
Race was one.
Yeah.
Religion's a topic where, like, if you've seen episode 2, we had Callie Whitty as the guest host. She just kind of gave her background and her beliefs. That one, for me, I would talk to anyone about that. And I feel like every conversation is going to go different, even for people who, like, she was raised Roman Catholic and so were you, but, like, your stories are similar, but they're just so different, like, if you talk. And I think it's interesting. So if you want to talk to us about religion, if you have your own topic, anything for me is open, Dylan. Like, I was telling my little sister Olivia, she's like, well, like, what kind of stuff would you guys be willing to talk about? I was like, honestly, anything. I would have a conversation about chocolate or vanilla, like, and we can make it into an hour-long open discourse discussion.
There's a couple topics that I'm interested in talking about, but there's just more sensitive topics that I'm not sure we want to dive into.
You want to say them?
Well, just talking about sex and relationships was one of the things I wanted to talk about, but that's such an intimate thing to talk about, especially if you're talking about your personal life and your personal experiences.
I think drugs would be cool.
That would be a good one.
Touch on.
Yeah. What would be really interesting is to have somebody who has beat addiction.
Yeah.
Or has struggled with something, and if they wanted to come on and talk about them, the struggles that they've had and them overcoming it, I think that would be really, really interesting.
I think we've done a good job of keeping this platform open.
Yeah.
Open discourse. But, like, there's not a theme. The theme itself is just conversation. Yeah. It's not, we're not talking about gaming, or we're not talking about religion every episode. It's just, what do people want to talk about?
We don't have a niche. We don't have a niche. We're just kind of like... I don't know why I said it like that. Oh, gosh.
Don't you love trying, like, there's that word, like, pops up in the back of your
head. Niche? I'm like, niche? Niche? I was like, can I say both? Are they both correct? I don't know.
I think it's a niche.
A niche?
Niche?
Oh my gosh, now I don't know.
I don't know either. Comment on the video. Let us know how you say it. Is it niche or niche?
I don't know.
All right.
Email.
open.discourseod@gmail.com. We've had an individual message us. All right. I'm a little sick. Message us on Facebook Messenger. That's an avenue.
Are you going to be all right? Are you going to make it?
You just got me laughing.
We got
there
like
with your,
2 minutes
with your
left.
Niche.
We got 2 minutes left and you're choking over there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, contact us. We'd love to hear from
Yeah,
a multitude of people from multitudes of perspectives.
If yeah, or if it's something, if it's a topic that we haven't brought up and it's something you're really interested in. Oh my gosh, now I can't talk. uh,
People are gonna be watching this like, man,
this is the most unprofessional
podcast ever.
But yeah, just shoot us an email. Let us know.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
See ya. I feel like my hair. I hate the fact that I'm going bald. We need to talk about that in a fucking episode.
Hair?
How rough it is being a man and losing your hair.
I wouldn't know.
Jesus. I wouldn't know I got this luscious locks. See, what pisses me off is the fact that your fucking dad has nice hair.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be one of those guys who just has great hair your whole life.
Yeah. My hair will
Fuck
probably
you.